Sarah is at 2,000 feet, circling. Her F-16 banking left in a tight orbit over the Syrian desert. Below her, somewhere in that valley, is Jake Reeves, her wingman. Shot down 30 minutes ago. On the ground. Hiding. Surrounded by ISIS. Sarah can't see him. He's dug in. Radio silence. But she knows he's there. And she's not leaving. Her fuel gauge is showing critical. Maybe 40 minutes left. Maybe less. Every circle burns fuel. Every minute she stays is a minute closer to not making it home. The rescue helicopter is inbound. 20 minutes out. They radioed 5 minutes ago. Viper 2-1, we have your position. Recommend you RTB. We'll handle extraction. RTB. Return to base. Leave. Let the rescue team do their job. That's the smart play. The safe play. But Sarah shakes her head even though nobody can see. Negative. I'm staying. The helicopter pilot tries again. Ma'am, you're critically low on fuel. You need to leave. I'm staying until you have him. Until he's in your bird. Copy that. Sarah keeps circling. Eyes scanning the ground. Looking for movement. For threats. She sees vehicles. Trucks. Technicals with mounted guns. Searching. Looking for Jake. Sarah drops lower. 1,500 feet. Risky. They can hit her here. Small arms. RPGs. But she needs to be visible. Needs them to know there's an F-16 overhead. Needs them to think twice about searching too hard. Because if they find Jake before the helicopter arrives, he's dead. And Sarah refuses to let that happen. Even though Jake Reeves doesn't deserve this. Even though 4 years ago, he stood in front of a review board at Top Gun and said Captain Sarah Chen wasn't qualified to fly fighters. Even though he failed her. Humiliated her. Told her women couldn't handle combat stress. Today Jake's life is in Sarah's hands. And she's not letting go. Captain Sarah Chen was 32 years old and the first Asian American female fighter pilot in her squadron when she deployed to Syria in 2017 with the coalition against ISIS. She'd worked her entire life to get here. Grew up in San Francisco. Daughter of immigrants. Parents owned a restaurant. Worked 16-hour days. Wanted better for their daughter. Education. Stability. Safety. Sarah wanted to fly. Since she was 8 years old. Saw the Blue Angels at an air show. F divided by a -18s screaming overhead. Precision. Power. Beauty. She was hooked. Told her parents she wanted to be a fighter pilot. They were horrified. Too dangerous. Not for women. Not practical. But Sarah was determined. Graduated high school top of her class. Got into the Naval Academy. Annapolis. 2003. Studied aerospace engineering. Flew gliders. Applied for flight school. Got in. Pensacola. 2007. Naval flight training. She excelled. Top of her class. Got her wings. Selected for fighters. F/A-18 initially. Then transitioned to F-16s. 2011. She was living her dream. Then came Top Gun. 2013. Naval Fighter Weapons School. Fallon, Nevada. The most prestigious fighter training in the world. 6 weeks. The best pilots. The hardest scenarios. Sarah was selected. First female pilot in her squadron to be chosen. She was proud. Excited. Nervous. Top Gun would prove she belonged. Prove she was as good as any male pilot. Better, even. She arrived confident. Ready. The training was intense. Dog fighting. Air combat maneuvering. Ground attack. Tactical scenarios. Sarah performed well. Really well. Top 3 in her class. Her scores were high. Her flying was precise. She thought she'd pass. Thought she'd proven herself. Then came the final evaluation. The review board. 3 instructors. The lead was Major Jake Reeves. 41 years old. Veteran fighter pilot. 15 years experience. Multiple combat deployments. Respected. Intimidating. He'd been watching Sarah closely throughout the course. Always critical. Always finding flaws. Sarah thought it was just tough instruction. Making her better. She was wrong. The review board was brutal. Jake read his evaluation of Sarah in front of everyone. Captain Chen demonstrates adequate technical flying skills. However, she consistently hesitates under high-stress scenarios. Lacks the aggression necessary for air-to-air combat. Fails to commit to attacks when decision time is critical. Sarah stood at attention, listening to every word cut into her. Jake continued without emotion. Based on observed performance, I cannot recommend Captain Chen for fighter combat certification. She may be suited for transport or support roles, but fighter operations require decisive action under pressure. Then he said the words that Sarah would never forget. In my professional opinion, female pilots lack the psychological makeup for sustained combat stress. The room went silent. The other instructors looked uncomfortable but said nothing. Jake looked directly at Sarah. "Do you have anything to say, Captain?" Sarah wanted to scream, wanted to defend herself, wanted to point out every mission she'd flown perfectly, but she knew it wouldn't matter because Jake had already decided women couldn't be fighter pilots. "No, sir," she said quietly. "Dismissed." Sarah left that room destroyed. Failed. The only woman in her class. Failed by an instructor who believed gender determined capability. Sarah didn't quit. She appealed. Requested re-evaluation. Flew the course again. Different instructors. 2014. Passed. Top scores. Got her Top Gun certification. Proved Jake wrong. Got assigned to a fighter squadron. Deployed. Iraq. Afghanistan. Syria. Multiple combat missions. Air to ground. Close air support. Escort. She was good. Really good. Her squadron mates respected her. Trusted her. She'd proven herself. But she never forgot Jake's words. They stayed with her. Motivated her. Every mission. Every flight. Proving him wrong. Again and again. Syria 2017. Sarah's squadron was flying combat missions against ISIS. Airstrike operations. Precision bombing. Taking out command centers, weapons depots, supply lines. Dangerous work. ISIS had anti-aircraft capabilities. Surface-to-air missiles. SAMs. Russian-made. Effective. Every mission was risky. Sarah flew with different wingmen. Rotated. Good pilots. Professional. Then one day she got her assignment. Mission brief. Northern Syria. ISIS command center. High-value target. Her wingman, Major Jake Reeves. Sarah froze. Jake. Her old instructor. The man who failed her. She hadn't seen him in 4 years. Hadn't spoken to him. Didn't know he was in theater. But there he was. Assigned as her wingman. Sarah could have requested a different assignment. Could have cited their history. But she didn't. She was a professional. This was the mission. Jake was the wingman. Personal feelings didn't matter. The briefing was awkward. Jake was professional. Formal. Called her Captain Chen. No acknowledgement of their past. No apology. Just mission details. Targets. Threats. Procedures. Sarah matched his tone. Professional. Cold. They'd fly together. Do the job. That's it. The mission launched. 2 F-16s. Sarah and Jake. Viper 2-1 and Viper 2-2. They flew in formation. Crossed into Syrian airspace. Heading northeast toward the target. Intel said minimal anti-aircraft threat. 1 or 2 mobile SAM units. Avoid them. Hit the target. Get out. Simple. Except Intel was wrong. They were 10 miles from target when Sarah saw the smoke trail. Rising from the ground. Fast. SAM launch. Brake right. Both aircraft banked hard. Flares. Standard evasion. The missile tracked Jake. His aircraft. Heat-seeking. Going for the engines. Jake was maneuvering hard. Trying to break the lock. Sarah watched helplessly from a mile away. The missile stayed locked. Closed the distance. Impact. Jake's F-16 exploded. Fire and debris. Sarah's heart stopped. Viper 2-2. Jake. Eject. 3 seconds of nothing. Then the canopy blew. Ejection seat fired. Parachute deployed. White against brown desert. Jake was alive. Falling into Syria. ISIS territory. Sarah banked hard and followed the parachute down. Her training took over. She keyed the radio. Viper actual, Viper 2-2 is down. SAM hit. Pilot ejected. She read coordinates. Marked the position. Watched Jake land hard. He unhooks. Starts running. Smart. Get away from the chute. Find cover. Sarah sees vehicles. Multiple. ISIS fighters. They saw the parachute. They're coming. Colonel Morrison, base commander, responds immediately. Viper 2-1 return to base. We'll coordinate rescue. Sarah checks her fuel. She's been flying for 90 minutes already. Fuel is at 60%. Enough to get home. Barely enough to circle. She stays, she might not make it back. The smart play is to leave. Let the rescue team handle it. But Sarah looks down at Jake. Running. Hiding. Vehicles converging. He has minutes. She makes her decision. Negative, sir. I'm staying with him. Morrison's voice is sharp. Captain Chen, that is an order. Return to base. Sarah doesn't respond. Just drops altitude. Circles Jake's position. Oh, dangerous. But visible. 4:45 minutes, Sarah circles. She's at 1,500 feet. Low enough to be a presence. High enough to maintain some safety. ISIS fighters are searching. She sees them. Trucks. Armed men. Moving through the valley. Looking for Jake. Every few minutes she drops lower. Does a fast pass. Afterburners. Loud. Visible. Reminding them an F-16 is overhead. Reminding them to stay cautious. It works. They're searching slowly. Carefully. Reluctant to cluster. Afraid of being targeted. Sarah's buying time. Burning fuel. Lots of fuel. Her gauge is dropping fast. 20 minutes in, she's at 30%. Critical. The rescue helicopter radios. Viper 2-1, we're 15 minutes out. Recommend URTB. We'll handle extraction. Negative. I'm staying until you have him. Ma'am, you're critically low on fuel. Copy that. Just get him. Sarah keeps circling. 35 minutes. 20% fuel. The helicopter arrives. She sees it. Oh, fast. Moving into the valley. Sarah climbs higher. Provides top cover. Watches. The helicopter lands. Fast rope. 2 rescue team members down. Running to Jake's position. ISIS fighters see the helicopter. Start converging. Shooting. Sarah drops low. Does a gun run. Strafing. Not to kill. Just to suppress. Keep them back. It works. The rescue team grabs Jake. Lifts him. Gets him to the helicopter. Gone. Safe. Sarah watches them leave. Relief floods through her. Jake is safe. Now she needs to get home. Sarah turns toward Turkey. Naval Air Station Incirlik. 100 miles. Her fuel gauge shows 10%. Enough. Maybe. She climbs to altitude. Tries to conserve fuel. The flight takes 15 minutes. The longest 15 minutes of her life. Her fuel gauge drops to 5%. 3%. The base comes into view. Tower is calling. Viper 2-1, you are critically low on fuel. Straight in approach. No go around. Copy. Sarah lines up. Fast. Too fast. No time for finesse. Just get on the ground. Fuel shows 2%. The engines could quit any second. 1 mile. Half mile. Runway ahead. She's high. Too high. Drops fast. Levels out. Too fast. 170 knots. Should be 140. No time to adjust. Tires hit hard. Bouncing. But down. She's down. Engaging the brake. The engines sputter. Fuel starvation. They quit. The aircraft coasts. Slowing. She makes the turnoff. Barely. Stops. Engines dead. Fuel gauge shows 0. Sarah sits there. Hands shaking. She did it. Saved Jake. Made it home. Barely. Jake spent 3 days in the hospital. Smoke inhalation. Bruises from the ejection and landing. But alive. Healthy. On day 4, Colonel Morrison visited him. Told him the full story. How Sarah stayed. Circled for 45 minutes. Burned through her fuel. Landed with 2 minutes remaining. Risked her life. For him. Jake was quiet for a long time. Then asked to see Sarah. She came. Walked into his hospital room. Awkward. Silent. Jake looked at her. You stayed. You were my wingman. That's the job. You almost didn't make it back. But I did. Jake was quiet again. Then he said the words she never expected. I'm sorry. For Top Gun. For what I said. I was wrong. About you. About women and fighters. I was wrong. Sarah didn't know what to say. She'd waited 4 years to hear that. Thought it would feel better. Instead she just felt tired. You didn't fail because you weren't good enough. You failed because I was biased. I'm sorry. Sarah nodded. Accepted it. Then said what needed to be said. I didn't stay because you deserved it. I stayed because it's what fighter pilots do. We don't leave our wingmen. No matter what. Jake returned to flying 2 months later. Requested transfer to a training role. No more combat deployments. He was done proving himself. Sarah continued flying combat missions. Multiple deployments. She earned medals. Commendations. Respect from everyone who flew with her. In 2019, Jake was selected to be an instructor at Top Gun again. This time he had 3 female pilots in his class. All 3 passed. With high marks. Jake wrote their evaluations personally. Recommending them without reservation. Because he'd learned that capability has nothing to do with gender. He'd learned it the hard way. From the pilot he'd failed. The pilot who saved his life. Sarah still flies. Still deploys. Still proves every day that she belongs in that cockpit. And when young female pilots ask her about facing doubt and discrimination, she tells them what she learned over Syria in 2017. Being a fighter pilot isn't about proving people wrong. It's not about revenge or validation. It's about the wingman. Always the wingman. Even when that wingman doesn't deserve it. Even when he's the one who tried to end your career. Because that's what makes you a fighter pilot. Not gender. Not who believes in you. But who you refuse to leave behind.